Hey guys, Dr. David Jockers here, and today we're talking about the best way to do an elimination diet. You know, as a functional medicine doctor, I work with people with a wide variety of health complaints, and one of the things I found to be one of the most effective strategies is an elimination diet. Why? Because oftentimes when we have leaky gut, which is really the root cause of almost every chronic inflammatory condition, there are certain foods and certain compounds within the foods that are provoking our immune system and creating inflammation throughout our body. And so by taking those foods out of our diet, we significantly reduce inflammation, and really following this sort of an elimination diet focus and protocol allows us to understand and have a better relationship with the food that we are consuming. And so basically, how do we do this? Well, number one is foods that you feel like you're most suspicious about. Like, you know what, every time that I'm consuming eggs, I don't feel good. And so what you would do is, number one, I would take that food out. You've got nothing to lose there. So take the eggs out of your diet. And I would recommend doing it for at least a week, ideally a month. Okay, so eliminate it for a month. A lot of healing can take place in like a 4 to 6 week period of time. So eliminate it for a month. And then what I would recommend is you start by doing a biofeedback test. So that could be a muscle test, right? It could be a pulse test. You want to make sure that it passes either the muscle test or the pulse test first, where it doesn't cause a big significant change in your pulse or weakness in your muscles. That would be the first thing. Before I would actually consume the food, I'd make sure it passes the muscle test, it passes the pulse test. Now you're ready to introduce it back into your diet and see how your body responds. So what you do is you take it and you eat it on day one. Let's say day one's a Monday. You have eggs for breakfast, for lunch, or for dinner. One of those meals, just one meal. You choose it, okay, let's say I have it for dinner. So I have eggs for dinner. Then what I'm gonna do is observe how my body responds to that. So if I have, let's say, scrambled eggs, I'm gonna see how my body responds over the next 3 days, okay? And if I respond well, I don't have any major symptoms, great news, okay? Then on day 4, I may try the eggs in a different form. Possibly something like, and in fact, you could actually do it where you do yolk on day 1, right? So I might do egg yolk only and not the white. The egg yolk tends to be a little bit less hypoallergenic than the egg white. So on day 1, I might do egg yolk. Day 4, okay, seeing as let's say I respond fine, I don't have any increase in symptoms, day 4, I try the egg white, okay? And again, I'm gonna try muscle testing it again, pulse testing it, and if I respond well to those things, then I'm gonna try adding it back to my diet, and I'm gonna observe over the next 3 days, how did my body respond to the egg white? Did I have an increase in symptoms? Did I have more fatigue? Did I have headaches? Did I have a skin outbreak? Did I have gastrointestinal? Did I have gut issues? Did I have to clear my throat a lot? These are all signs that the body's creating more inflammation and not responding well to the food. So again, the steps look like this. Number 1 is eliminate foods that you're suspicious about, or foods that are really common irritants. That could be things like corn, soy, peanuts. I mean, these are things that I tell my patients to just come off of anyways, like get rid of those things. Gluten would be another one. Now, the other ones that are like actually have health benefits, but for somebody that has severe leaky gut or autoimmune conditions can provoke more inflammation would be things like nuts and seeds. Nuts and seeds have a lot of nutrients. However, they can also cause more problems. They're tough on the digestive system. So people with autoimmunity, leaky gut, oftentimes have symptoms associated with nuts and seeds. You also have things like nightshade vegetables, tomatoes, potatoes, peppers, and eggplant, for example. These would be another fringe food. They have health benefits, but also a lot of people react poorly to them. So these would be foods that I would eliminate for a period of time. And you should notice when you eliminate these kinds of foods that your inflammation goes down, that your symptoms start to disappear, especially if you do it for like at least 4 to 6 weeks and give your body that time to heal. Then you go ahead and you try one at a time, reintroducing these foods. The big mistake I see people make when they follow an elimination diet is they eliminate a whole bunch of foods, but then they try to add it all back in at the same time. Not what you want to do. You want to add it back in slowly and intentionally, one food at a time, and ideally multiple different forms. So if I was adding back almonds, I might add back raw almonds on day 1. And so long as I respond well to that, then I might try cooked almonds, like for example, an almond butter that's roasted almonds. So now I'm trying a cooked form of the almonds on day 4. So that's really how you want to do it. Definitely give yourself 3 days at least, if not a full week, when you're introducing a new food. That way you give your body time to really, to give you the right information, to tell you if it's having symptoms or not. A lot of these responses can be delayed. They can be 48, 72 hours after you consume the food. So it's really, really important that you give yourself that time, be super intentional about it, and think about it like this. When you're on an elimination diet because you've got leaky gut, you've got autoimmune conditions, you're having a lot of health symptoms, you should be thinking about it like this is a 6-month, maybe a year-long process where I'm gonna really learn and understand as much as I can about how my body's responding to the foods and the environment that I'm in. And I'm ultimately gonna master my own physiology. And at the end of that year, you're gonna know so much more about your body. You're gonna have a deep kinesthetic awareness of how your body responds to foods. I call that developing a master's degree in your own health. You don't get letters behind your name or advanced credentials, but you know what? You master your own physiology, how to get yourself in the best health possible, and you're gonna be able to really be experienced and be able to coach and provide wisdom and support for other people who are new to the journey. So that's some principles for how to follow the elimination diet, really the best way to follow the elimination diet. So would love to hear about your experience with the elimination diet, what challenges that you have had, and if you followed this protocol the way that I explained it.